All right. Does anyone want to speak to how their experience went with some of the other advisors?
I guess I can share and say I met with Jay as well and thought the insights that he had, the tools and resources for figuring out market demand and even just like addresses of other childcare centers to know that kind of competitive landscape. Those were phenomenal. Um, Valerie's reviewing a business plan draft to help with SBA lending, and then, Jesse, his advice was don't meet with too many people. Meet with like get the three and then kind of stick the ones that I'm gonna kind of run with. Was his big advice because he didn't want getting, push pull in too many different directions. But yeah, you all have been great to meet with.
Great. Anybody else have any advice or experiences they'd like to share? Okay, you guys are quiet today. I get it. All right. So tonight we're just gonna go through the resources that you guys have available. It's really just kind of a slide of various resources, and then I'd like for everybody to really think about like what your next steps are after this is over and like kind of what your plan of action will be. So there's like a nice solid action step after this is over. And the action step might be keep doing what you've done, but now you know some different things, but like really do think about kind of where you're at and where you might be going, because it is really helpful to end with some kind of, momentum to take action. So this is the slide that talks about different resources. It'll be in the slide decks that you guys have to review. These go all the way back to the various things that we've talked about. So we've kind of talked about the legal stuff that you can set up. So this is going to the SBDC for the state, Department of Early Childhood page, Colorado Shines information about CCAP, and then this is going to setting up your business, the IRS homepage, the Department of Revenue. These are things, no matter where you're at in your planning of your business, that are still helpful resources to have. So you can save these slides somewhere where you can get them, but it's a lot more efficient than trying to hunt down things. Here's your filing requirements, business filing, ownership information. This is a whole lot of different links about licensing. So how to contact different licensing agents. The rules and regs are in here. What legal exemption means. So that FFN piece that we've talked about. This is a public resource drive. So the Department of Early Childhood has a whole drive of resources. There's templates on staffing. There's templates on meal times. There's templates on professional development and planning, lesson planning, all kinds of stuff. So if you haven't gone to that resource bank, that's really, really helpful. Or especially if some of you guys have asked about like templates and handbook templates and things like that. There's a lot of templates on this public resource drive. So it's really a good use of time to kind of go through that. And it does have a search feature. So if you're searching for, lesson planning or staff management or something like that, something in there will be in there that you can probably use. Here's some HR things. So HR policy guidelines. This is information on family. So if you have employees, you will participate in family. It's kind of that state program for family and medical leave. So if you are pregnant or somebody in your family gets sick, there's all kinds of things that you can use family leave for. So that's a good program to know about, both for yourself and for your employees. Colorado Secure Savings. Here is a Bright Wheel guide to writing an effective childcare employee handbook. And then here's some kind of financial templates if you guys are looking for that. So a budget template. This U.S. Department of Health and Human Resources provider cost of care quality calculator. It's like a whole mouthful. This is really helpful because it is telling you approximately what it would cost to provide high quality care, and that is state dependent. So you click this link and you can go in there and say, I'm in Colorado. I'm going to feed them, or people are going to bring their own lunch, whatever that is. And it can kind of sort out what the cost of care is in the state, and that can give you a good starting point for your tuition. So it can kind of give you a guideline on, because I know some of you guys are like, I don't know how to call 50 different centers and figure out what they're charging, or I feel like that's kind of weird, or I have to act like a parent. This calculator gives you a good place to start. So if that's something you're looking into, this is a good calculator to use for that. Different software pros and cons, that's really helpful as well. Here is the Colorado Department of Early Childhood resources and guides. And this has a childcare business guide. So kind of specific to what we've been talking about. But if you want a little bit more in-depth information, this business guide is really helpful. Additional resources. So these are kind of those different software pieces we talked about. QuickBooks, NetSuite, Xero, other accounting software options. So this is kind of where you can look at for different accounting software and see what might be the most beneficial to you to use. These resources are, for various social media things. Again, we kind of talked about, Instagram isn't particularly where people are going to find childcare. Be mindful about how much time you put into social media. And we talked about that last time. People aren't going on TikTok to find childcare. Like that is just not what they're on there for. I still really recommend Nextdoor. I think that's the best for like a localized way of marketing. The grassroots method of just going and looking at businesses in your area, big employers in your area, getting to be friends with the bank down the street or the child's dentist down the street. Like that grassroots on the ground area, because childcare is generally really local, that is really the best way to do things. Spending a lot of time on Instagram and TikTok is not probably going to help you. Same thing with LinkedIn. People aren't going to LinkedIn to find childcare, they're going to find jobs. So just kind of be mindful of what kind of holes you get into. Facebook is great for parent groups and like localized parent groups. So like maybe the Arvada parents group or the Arvada moms group or the Littleton family group or all those things. Like Facebook is great for finding the parent groups and kind of marketing to those populations. And you should, have a profile for your company, your business. That's great. But like you don't need to get so in the weeds and spend a ton of time on that. But if you are going to spend time in one, Facebook is generally the most useful for childcare. Here's Pinterest. Again, that's a good place for teachers to find activities. Just make sure that it aligns with licensing. Because sometimes we'll get teachers that are like, I can use glitter for everything, and it's against licensing to use glitter for younger ages. Things like that like can get kind of sticky. So as long as you can sort things out because you understand licensing, then you're probably fine, but it can get a little wonky. Here's a video on how YouTube works. If you wanted to make videos for parents to look at, or you want to put it like videos for your website, you could definitely do that through here. And then here's some of that branding we talked about last time. So Canva, ColorMind, and FontJoy. And here's just kind of some inspiration around small business websites. And again, like it's great to have a basic website, and maybe you can do a waiting list form people can fill out, or you can have some pictures of your program or pictures of your classroom. But you don't need to get so in the weeds with that it is like super complex, because that's not generally what parents are looking for. You need hours, tuition, what the activities are you do, general overview. If you're gonna have a page about your staff, that's fine, but like you don't need to spend tons of money into a super in-depth website, because generally that's not what's gonna help you. So all these resources are really helpful. They're at the end of slide deck 3, that marketing and resources. So if you're looking for that, that's where you'll be able to find this part. Any questions about resources, or is anybody looking for resources where they're like, I don't know where I'd even find that?
Can you say that again? Sorry, I missed the last part.
Yes. Is there any resources you're looking for, or things where you want to know where you might be able to find it? These are generally pretty helpful. Like no matter what area you're looking for resources in, it's probably in this slide deck with all these different resources. And I know sometimes it's like, oh yes, a whole page of resources. I'll totally look at that. And then you never go back to that. These are actually very specific to early childhood business and very specific to the things we've talked about in this class. So, if you really are looking for something, it's probably a link in there to something that is similar to what you're trying to find. So really do use these resources.
I was kind of looking for like grants or anything down that line.
Mm-hmm. So the Colorado Department of Early Childhood website might have some information on grants. That is also something. Raul, do you know what advisor might know more about small business grants and loans?
So grants is a tough one. Usually your best bet is going to actually be contacting your city when it comes to grants. If your economic development department has anything that is, sometimes they'll have a grant like remodeling, like a aesthetic type of thing where to clean up the space or whatnot. So I would start there, check there. You're definitely welcome to reach out to, let me see, I'm thinking in of the ones that are childcare certified. Gosh. I would say also reach out to your home center. So because and that won't count as a child care advising session, but it's still no cost one-on-one advising, and they might have a person that is more better attuned to that area and understanding grants in that area better. We have a couple people at our center for North Metro, but they're not child care certified yet. And so it just wouldn't count as a child care advising session, but you still can get advising with them. So that's how I would approach that one. Last little mention on that is also looking at the potential. I don't know if there's anything out there with childcare yet or right now, but like government contracts. There may be something in your area along those lines as well. And that would be the city. Also look at the city or county.
Right.
Thank you.
Other questions around resources? Okay. So since you guys have at least had one advising session and you've kind of gone through all these resources, I really want you guys to kind of speak up and just give like a quick 5 minute or less thing about like kind of where you're at and where you're going and what this has caused you to really think about through this course. And maybe it's I'm just kind of considering opening an early childhood program, and this course has made me realize maybe I should just start with FFN care. Or, I thought that I wanted to maybe start my own program, but it might be too much, or maybe right now is not the best time, so I'm gonna wait and reassess in 2 years. Like there's no right or wrong answer, but I'd love to hear kind of where you guys are at and what you're thinking as a result of taking this class.
I'll go first. So I when I did meet with you, I did mention about like opening that second like home daycare. Something that like made me kind of slow down and realize about when taking this class was just that I think I have to like make a better budget for what I have right now. That way I could um bring that on to the new one. And I don't like I'm stable, but I think I could work on a few things here while I like I still have that out in my plan. It's just there's like a little bit more things that I want to work and like get in place before moving forward.
Good point. Sometimes not taking action is the best decision you can make at the moment based on, what your considerations are and kind of where you're at. Sometimes going barreling towards something that you think is a good idea without really pausing to reconsider some of these various perspectives is not the wisest way to start a business. Who else
I
has
can go in next then,
great?
because the last meeting I had was with you, and there were realizations there. I do agree, and that is a great thought. Being in the business of a home child care and wanting to expand um, to more of out of my home, whether it be in a facility or whether I rent a space or purchase a space or again, a lot of different avenues and options have been opened. I feel like like I have more options to consider at this point, as well as, like the lady said prior, maybe just also thinking, okay, what do I have now? Am I moving too fast? So, um, yeah, that's what I've gotten.
That's great. Thank you for sharing that. Who else wants to share? I say want to, but I'm gonna make all you guys do this. So I don't know. It's not really it's not really a want to. It's just who wants to go next.
I can share next. And I'll say so in this process now, when I first joined, it was conceptual exploration. Do we want to open a childcare center? Since and as I've been having these conversations, it's really moved to active, looking at sites, both secondhand, kind of former school, already zoned childcare, looking at build to suit options for us, um, active developer conversations. And so, yeah, I think this class has definitely given more comfort and support. It feels like we're not sticking our necks out. There's always risk, right? But that we're not sticking them out too far and kind of running completely blind. Um, I think for us, kind of the biggest tension is still we have our ideal target geography where the market demand is, but those are going to be a lot more expensive properties that are being built from the ground up. Whereas we could get secondhand space and maybe be owners and operators for a couple of years. Um, but it would be in maybe a less kind of high demand. And so that's still that's still kind of the ongoing tension. Um, but yeah, I definitely think, especially on the lending and financial side, before it was kind of like, can we do this and working with the advisors. Now it's like, yeah, fairly confident that um, getting started is not the problem, but surviving, thriving, that enrollment ramp, all those things are going to be key. Um, and we'll just have to do our best.
Mm. Thank you for sharing. I mean, on the tail end of that, I think there's 2 points you made that are really good. One is like when you have the clarity to know what you're really looking for, and finding it is very easy. If you don't really know what you're looking for and you could kind of go any direction, it's very hard to find the thing that you really need to find and make that work. Like if you don't know what you're looking for, then your vision is cloudy and you're not able to really see it when it does come to you. So I think that part's really important. And then the other thing I would say is definitely continue to be in touch with the advisors. Keep making appointments with me, keep talking to Jesse, Jay, I mean, whoever it is you need to talk to, but like really do keep in touch with the SBDC. It is very, very helpful. And once again, you guys, I don't know, people come through here and then they just leave and I never see them again. And it's very sad. And I don't know why they do that because this is a super valuable service and the SBDC is a great resource, especially in early childhood because we don't have a lot of things like this. So I really do encourage all of you guys to maintain these relationships and to keep the contact information, keep the sheets of the advisors, and really do stay in touch because just because this class is over doesn't mean that support is gone. And the state is like paying for your membership to this basically. So keep doing it, keep talking, keep coming with issues, keep coming with questions. Just keep moving kind of along this track for sure. Who wants to go next? I think we're missing Fabiola, and that's it. Fabiola, do you want to kind of share some of your lessons learned?
Hello. Yeah, I guess I kind of find out myself I'm very shy. I don't know
Oh,
why. I hear everybody and it's like I'm so afraid to talk. But
you're okay. Nobody here is judging you. We're all in the same place. It's fine.
I know, but well, first of all, English is my second language, so sometimes I feel like kind of not confident of myself. But yeah, I think last time I spoke with you, like I wasn't sure what I want to do, if this is really the fit for me, or I'm the fit for the job actually. So yeah, I'm still, thinking about it, like, because having a job in my house, I know I'm not gonna have the ability to go and pick up my kids or do stuff like that I'm doing all the time. So I think I've been thinking about what we talked last time, that maybe I can start with the few kids without license, and then we can go from there during the summertime. Like, I don't have to be up and down with the other kids, with my own kids actually. So yeah, but it's very helpful. Listen to everybody, and for you advices, and for Raul advisors, everything. I mean, it's a lot come to my mind and think about it, like what really I want to do.
That's great. Yep. Sometimes it's just the little steps. Like if you can't do the whole big jump, like what are little steps to see how it works, what you learn, and kind of what you can do going forward.
Yeah. The only thing I share with my sister about this, doing it, on the side without license, with just few kids. But she told me, like, a lot of the parents looking for people with license.
Mm, sometimes yes, and sometimes no. It kind of depends on what the parent needs. Some people really like family friend and neighbor care. And getting a license can be a really long process, but just because you don't have a license doesn't mean that you don't understand health and safety. And that's really where some of those PDIS trainings come into play. Like if you can get on PDIS and take some of those online trainings, then you can say, like, I've taken infant and toddler health and safety, I've taken preschool health and safety, I've taken an immunization training, I've taken safe sleep training. Like there's a lot of
Mm.
trainings online you can take, and the more you can show that you're educated about it, then maybe the less they'll care about a license.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you very much.
Yeah. Cool. All right. I think that's really all this session is about, is really kind of sharing resources and those action steps. Raul, did you have anything that you wanted to add?
No, I mean, you've already said it, Dora. We can't stress enough the advising
Mm-hmm.
and staying connected. I'm a true believer of setting up semi-regular sessions where if you're really feel like you got some hold of the content and business in general, once a quarter, check in with Dora or another advisor if you have a specific advisor in mind. If you feel like you're working on things and you're kind of running into more challenges, do something a little bit more regular, every couple of weeks, 2, 3, 4 weeks apart each session. That way you can bring everything you're going through to them and throw stuff at them. I'm trying this. What do you think of this? Uh, the amount of wisdom, knowledge that can be accessed through this is just insane, right? And it's not just one person, because if they don't have the answer, they can refer you to somebody else, right? So I mean, I've had business coaches and I didn't know about the SBDC before that, and I've spent thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars on that. And not to say it was a waste. Some of it was really good and helpful, but it'd be nice if I didn't have to spend that money, right? So
Yeah.
yeah, if you see the value, if you've been getting the value, just keep it going. The more there's this really cool stat for every advising hour that a business owner spends, their revenue goes up. There's no like perfect factor, but it just goes up. So, and they studied this across the SBDCs and throughout the nation, and there was no end in sight. Like it just kept going up. So there's something to be said about that.
Yes.
Could I just lastly just share my experience with the SBDC and under trying to understand how broad and large of a community it is. I did not start off with Rose and Dora. There was someone else, I think she was Douglas County, and then it comes to Arapahoe County, then there's Aurora, and then it's just a huge network from experience. So I implore you all as well. They're not just saying this. I've had the opportunity to speak with so many people just to get to this point because I am located in Aurora, but it is a fact, from whatever you need, business stuff, financial, and from being a business owner for a while, Raul is very accurate. These things don't come offered for free and with a genuine, authentic, care about your success. So I just wanted to add that in there. I'm very grateful for the opportunity.
Thanks for joining. This also takes a lot of dedication on your guys' part. I hate evening stuff. You've worked the whole day, you're tired, you're trying to make dinner, you don't want to do anything. Like, it takes a lot of dedication to join evening trainings. It really does. And it shows that you care about what you're doing and you're dedicated and you're showing up and you're learning. And like, that is not always easy. So really, you guys should applaud yourselves for being here because it takes dedication. Yay. Okay. Any other thoughts, questions, comments? Feel free. You can always email me or Raul. And yeah, really don't stop the advising because it really does help. Cool. Anything else? All right. Don't forget to schedule your advising sessions if you haven't made the 3 that you need. And where will you put the link to schedule with the different advisors in the chat? Okay.
I scheduled mine, but I did do them a little far apart, so that's why I've only done one, but I do have mine scheduled.
Perfect. Great.
You're good, Carolina, as long as you get them all 3 in before June 10th. And if you don't, just you'll still get the knowledge, but the PDIS credit won't be included.
If you guys are running into any problems and you really do need like that last hour or something and you don't see availability on my calendar, just email me and I will fit you in somewhere because I want you guys to get the credit for this if that's what you want. Cool. All right. Well, it was great having you guys. We really appreciate you guys joining this.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Have a nice evening.
You as well.
Bye.
Take care, everyone. Thank you again.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Good evening.
Thanks. See you later, Delora.
But thank you very much too.
Way to speak up, Fabiola. You did great. You did
Thank you.
fantastic.
Thank you.
Bye.